All right, so we got the super early 11:14 spoilers, and we're finding out about Joy Boy in this chapter. Vegapunk in his broadcast is talking straight up about Joy Boy, who he was, where he came from. Not too much because, these are brief spoilers, but we are finding out some stuff about him. We're also finding out some stuff about the Mother Flame. We talked about that a few times, and we're going to talk about it more. But first, coming off of the previous chapter, we saw that Mars was able to find Vegapunk's head in Punk's records, looking for the transponder snail that's broadcasting Vegapunk's message to the world, and he wasn't able to destroy it because it was just a decoy. Then we saw a bunch of random people's reactions to Vegapunk's message in the world, characters that we've seen throughout the series, of course. Then we came to Sanji taking on Venus, but Kashi and Oimo were able to hold him down, and then he wound up getting stomped on by a giant future Bonnie. Then we saw the weaker Straw Hats taking on Saturn, who they were able to successfully kind of defend until it came to the end of the chapter where Vegapunk finally actually said something, and it's that the world as we know it will sink into the sea. So Vegapunk still broadcasts his message, and he starts talking about the Void Century. However, he mentions he doesn't know too much. So that's the first funny thing that we're going to be going over here, because if anyone was supposed to know anything about the Void Century in current time, I guess it was supposed to be Vegapunk, right? He was supposed to know everything. And I guess he had some kind of insight into the knowledge that Ohara had collected, but I guess he didn't know too much. I mean, maybe we'll go more into Void Century stuff once we get to Elbaf, because some of their books and information was salvaged by the giants and was taken there. But yeah, Vegapunk's message to the world here doesn't seem to contain too much, interestingly enough. I mean, yeah, he's telling them that the world will sink into the sea, but it's like, why? Is he even gonna say why? Or is he just gonna be like, yeah, I just heard that it was. He says there was once a young man named Joy Boy from the ancient kingdom 900 years ago who had the power of stretching. So yeah, that's it, at least for now. Like I said, these are brief spoilers by Pew Piece. Maybe more will be explained in the full summary whenever we get that. I honestly don't know when we're going to get the full summary, because all bets are off with it being Golden Week in Japan. Technically, we're not even supposed to be getting these spoilers yet, but the black market of One Piece works in mysterious ways. And you might also be thinking like, wait, we already knew this. We already knew all of this about Joy Boy. And it's like, yeah, most of us did. I mean, if you're hardcore into One Piece or even semi-hardcore, you already knew this, but maybe the casuals were like, oh, so that's who Joy Boy was. But I guess it at least confirms that he did come from the ancient kingdom. That was never explicitly confirmed, I suppose, right? We knew that he, of course, lived 900 years ago. And I guess as for him having the power of stretching, I don't know if that was explicitly explained before. All of this was just, I guess, implied, because once Luffy awakened his rubber fruit into becoming the sun god Nika fruit, Zunisha was like, Joy Boy, you're back, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, like I said, this just confirms what we already knew. Joy Boy was essentially the first Luffy. Like, once we get a flashback of the Void Century, I'm sure he's gonna be like the Odin-esque character of that flashback arc. I don't know if he's gonna look like Luffy, but I'm sure he's gonna act like him to some degree. And it's very possible that he was the first user of the sun god Nika fruit, because as far as I see it at this point, I could be wrong, but I think sun god Nika wasn't like a real person. It was more so like an idea that people had, because Vegapunk was talking about devil fruits being the manifestations of dreams or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. And I think in the hard times, people were like, yeah, sun god Nika will free us, or whatever, the slave. And maybe that gave birth to that devil fruit, and then Joy Boy, who was like the Luffy of that time, ate the fruit and then became sun god Nika, and then started liberating everybody with that power. Okay, so it's like they knew that this was Joy Boy's fruit. So if they knew that Luffy ate the fruit, then why didn't they just immediately all go after Luffy and try to take him out? Like, they didn't even care. Like, they knew that Luffy existed, like, as far back as what, like Arlong Park? And it's implied that Joy Boy had a straw hat too, right? Because Imu obviously looks at the giant straw hat in Marijois. So they knew that Luffy had the straw hat, and they knew that he had the freaking rubber fruit, which they purposely renamed it to that because they didn't want anybody to know that it was a mythical Zoan Sun God Nika fruit. But I digress. It just also makes you wonder, like, where was the fruit all of this time? Like, did other people have it in between Joy Boy and Luffy? Because as far as we can go back with this fruit's location, it was like on a marine ship or a cipher pole ship. I forget which one exactly, but Who's Who was like guarding it, right? And then Shanks stole it from him. And also that raises the question of Shanks probably knew this whole time that it was Joy Boy's fruit, and that's why he took it. Maybe that's why he was okay with Luffy eating the fruit, and that's why he gave him the straw hat. Or maybe it's even possible that Shanks planned on eating the fruit himself, maybe, because he did have the straw hat. Maybe he was going to become Joy Boy and liberate everyone. I don't know. Maybe that's not really Shanks' deal, but I'm pretty sure that he took that fruit purposely. We also see the Mother Flame in this chapter, spelt Mother Flame. It's a flame underwater in a tank. In the chapter, we also see more reactions from people all over the world to Vegapunk's message. So seeing the Mother Flame here, it's a flame underwater, which is interesting. I guess that's supposed to parallel maybe more to Imu versus Joy Boy. Imu being like the water devil, Joy Boy being, you know, the sun, the flame that couldn't be extinguished or something like that. But the Mother Flame is like the fuel source to the ancient weapon Uranus, like the big thing that we saw in the sky destroying Lelusia, which I also assume is like the main device that Imu is using to sink the world, to raise the water levels by continually just destroying places with it. Because it was said after Lelusia was destroyed that it raised the water level. So I assume they did that many times in the past. It's even possible that Ennie's lobby is a result of something that was hit by the Mother Flame, maybe even the Ancient Kingdom possibly. Also, I mentioned this before and I'll keep mentioning it. Pretty sure we already saw this on Enel's cover story when he's looking at like the hieroglyphics on the moon. Pretty sure we see all three ancient weapons. One of them is Uranus, because you see like that circular thing with the little balls around it, and then in the center is the flame. So I think that's what that is. Hey, but first guys, GamerSupps just dropped a new flavor called Raw Meat, and it's in collaboration with Papa Meat. I'm a big fan of this guy, and chances are you probably are too, considering that we share demographics. But don't worry, it doesn't taste like raw meat. It actually tastes like watermelon and cantaloupe. But in my opinion, it straight up tastes like watermelon candy, which is incredible. It comes in caffeinated and decaffeinated. Both versions have the nootropics in it that are gonna get you feeling great and focused, and overall it's just nice. They also have these awesome sus bars, which are only 100 calories and only has 1 gram of sugar and 8 grams of protein. My favorite flavor is the chocolate. I cannot get enough of these things. They also have gamer tea in both caffeinated and non-caffeinated. I personally really like the caffeine-free sleepy time with theanine. You can also get some of these awesome gamer soups, which I absolutely love. So guys, check the link in the description and make sure you use code BIGZ for 10% off your purchase. Thanks guys. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys. Like I said, I'll go over way more of this stuff once we get the full summary. If you liked it, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.